it's been a pretty whirlwind year for you. Can you just talk a little bit about the highlights and the phenomenon of the show, and then getting to host the Globes?
The highlights, the phenomenon of the show, and I'm going to start with the hosting the Golden Globes, which was just the scariest and the best way to start 2019. I was petrified. But I just thought I couldn't start my year any harder, but I felt so satisfied about actually accomplishing it, whether it was good or not, just actually accomplishing it was great. And then, and then I won, and that was crazy, fantastic. And honestly, this past year, we're only at the beginning of February. Happy Lunar New Year, by the way. We're only at the beginning of February. The past month has just been incredible regarding the response to the show and, the gifts of accolades. And as it's been a year since the show's been on, it's going to, open again for the second season on April 7th. And it's just so fantastic that different people will pop up and just tell me how much they love the show. And it's a really diverse group of people, just from young people to older people of all different ethnicities, and, different first languages. Have all come up to me and said how much they love the show.
And talk a little bit about Eve's journey, season 2. We all know how season 1 ended. Mm-hmm. Where do they pick up? What's it going to be like for her now?
At the end of season 1, Eve really crosses a line, and then you'll see the fallout from that. But I can safely say that the second season is much darker for Eve's journey, and that she's pushed to just the boundaries of her, I think, her own morality, her own sexuality, and her character. And I think that's what the second series really is about. It's a really difficult journey for her.
Very much as a cat and mouse story. The two of you don't obviously have a ton of screen time together. What's that dynamic like, and how have you sort of bonded over this show?
Well, the thing is, it's like, so that's two different questions. It's not so much about how Jodie and I bond, which I'll be happy to answer, but like the characters are always thinking about each other. We might not have a large amount of screen time together. I actually have much more screen time, with Fiona Shaw and Owen McDonald, who play Carolyn and Nico, because that's my kind of more Eve's everyday relationship. But Eve is thinking about Villanelle more than she's thinking about Carolyn or even Nico. So she's thinking about her. So that relationship is always going on, even though screen time might not be, side by side. And then how Jodie and I, actually Jodie and I spent a lot more time together in even the passing in the makeup trailer, much more this season than we did last season. And I feel, very deeply bonded to her as a person, as an actor.
Last question. Do you think fans will be satisfied with season 2?
God. I hope so. I hope fans are satisfied. It's, it's, you just never know. We, did our best, and really, I know for me, really been trying to unearth the darker parts and the more difficult parts of Eve's character.
And there's no camp Eve in Camp Villanelle in terms of people who want one of you to...
No. And I feel like that's not what our show's about. And I find that, going down that aisle or going down that path is reductive to what we are actually trying to do, particularly in terms of telling more rich stories about fully fleshed female characters.